Hi, thanks for dropping by today. Before I get to the B-flat blues with the Walking Bassline performance, I wanted to mention that today's video is dedicated to individuals, especially musicians and guitarists with hand injuries that are interested in knowing more about possible solutions. The video you're going to watch in a moment was done 18 days post mid-carpal fusion surgery while in a cast. After the performance, you can stick around for a more detailed history of what I've been through. And if you have friends, family, or others that you know are dealing with hand injuries, this may be a resource for them to get the ball rolling. Thanks very much. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Merry Christmas. Okay, so what you're going to see next is my visit back to the surgeon's office 15 days later. So the surgery was November 25th, the Monday of Thanksgiving week 2024, and the visit back was December the 10th. The video you're going to see next is when the splint first came off. It's pretty ugly, I have to warn you, but you can just get a sense of the seriousness of this surgery. I'm not going to edit the audio portion of that video because it was taken right at the moment. And then right after that, you're going to see a briefer video of the cast that they put on at the same doctor's office meeting. When we're done with that, we're going to come back. I'm going to start giving you a brief history. Of the 5 different processes that one can utilize in hand injury, I've been through 3 of the 5. I wasn't eligible for one of them because you'll find out why. And I felt that probably the more serious and involved surgery was the one that I wanted to go with. So stay tuned. Thanks. So everybody, this is the 2-week follow-up. They took off the splint. I'll probably get a cast put on this today. And wow, it was major surgery. But the results should be good. I can already use my fingers pretty well. And looking forward to getting back to playing tunes real soon. I think I'll have the cast on for about a month. Good to be seeing a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. Bye. Okay, so here's the Christmas cast. Look at those fingers working. I'm going to post a video fairly soon doing the B-flat blues bass line. Merry Christmas, everybody. Okay, so now I'm going to give you a brief history. A little over 10 years ago, January of 2014, while exercising, I experienced a full thickness tear of the scapholunate ligament in my hand. What's important to remember is I tore a ligament here. At that time, I was immediately concerned. Of course, it hurt. And I had a MRI study done about 6 weeks or so after the injury. One of the reasons that I was ineligible for one of the procedures, which is called a ligament reconstruction, is because I waited too long. So if you have an injury to your hand, you don't want to wait 6 weeks. You want to get in within really a few days. How possible is that? At least in a couple of weeks. The MRI study did say a full thickness tear. I don't know if a reconstruction can be done with a full thickness tear. If it's a partial, it's definitely more doable. But the important thing is the time frame of getting it done. And I just wasn't eligible because I waited too long, even though it was only 6 weeks. So, process number 1, injections. Yep, I had an injection, in this area, and it was effective. We're 10 years ago plus when I had that injection, and gosh, it started feeling better, and I really didn't have any problems, and that was it. But I still looked at surgeons at that time. I interviewed 2 for sure, maybe 3, and they gave me a hierarchy of things I could do. I already mentioned number 3, the reconstruction wasn't possible. The next thing after injections, which as we all know has diminishing returns over time, was what's called denervation. You've got 2 nerves that run anterior and posterior. They're pain nerves that just transmit pain up to your brain. And it's a fairly simple procedure to remove them. Well, guess what? I had that done in April of this year, of 2024, because I mentioned 10 years ago this injury, it really didn't start bothering me till about 2 years ago. What I didn't realize is that, we as human beings become habituated to a certain amount of discomfort or pain. We just learn to live with it. I was living with more pain than it just became the new normal for me. So I got to the point where even though I knew about this denervation 10 years ago, I didn't do anything about it then. I was poised to do the denervation in 2019. I didn't do it. And then things just were getting worse. So I went ahead and I did it this year. 2 days later, I was playing guitar. I felt really good. I don't know if it was the anesthesia that hadn't completely worn off, but the bottom line is that did not solve the issue. I have developed arthritis. When you don't have a ligament that's working in your hand, it causes the 7 bones in there to begin to shift around and move. It's called slack wrist, which is what I had. So what I'm going to show you eventually is a picture of the anatomy of the hand and actually what was done in this surgery. But before I get there, I really want to say something that I sort of dumb luck stumbled upon and could be useful to you. And that is that when I did the rehab after the denervation in April, I went to a specific hand specialist rehabilitation therapist. And that office, my first tip is this: if you want to find out the outcome of a surgery, you want to know how people do, go to a rehabilitation, a physical therapist that deals specifically with the hand or the shoulder, depending if it's an arm issue. You don't want to go to a sports med place. They're more geared towards the knees and hips and stuff like that. You want a specialist for the hand. They were the ones who told me it's no wonder the denervation didn't help you, because you have the wrist is collapsing. The bones are not moving properly, and they are the ones who told me about the surgeries that they see, and that the ones that people seem to do well with. That's a good place to go. If you are in that situation, talk to a qualified hand therapist, somebody that really knows their stuff, and ask them about maybe a surgery you've consulted about or one you're considering, they will give you the where the rubber meets the road kind of information that could be extremely helpful to you. Not only that, they're really good at knowing what doctors to use and which ones to avoid. And I got to tell you, we all like to think we got the best surgeon, but in my area, I know I did. This is the doctor that takes care of other doctors' mistakes. So I felt really good about this. So that is a strong recommendation I would offer, that you start where your hand is rehabilitated in terms of physical therapy, and ask them, what outcomes do you see from the patients that you have? Okay, so next, another option in the list of things is a partial wrist fusion. And the outcomes of those partial fusions are not real positive. Not to say that it couldn't work for you, maybe it would. I opted for the most serious one, which is the mid-carpal wrist fusion. And what I'm going to show you next is going to be a video of the anatomy of the hand. I'm going to point out what was involved in this surgery. And before I do that, since this is the meat and potatoes of the whole presentation, I also had a very common procedure that many of you are familiar with, and maybe you see that little dot right there. I had carpal tunnel release, wherever that dot is. I think it's right there. I had that done in 2021, and it was a micro surgery. It's fairly common. Again, I found a surgeon that is a musician in San Francisco. He handles pro players. He handles San Francisco Symphony stringed instrument musicians. Really knows his way around, developed a non-invasive technique. I was awake for the procedure, very happy with the outcome. I don't know that everybody can say that, but I have no issues with this hand, knock on wood, thankfully. Okay, so I'm going to bring up that image of the hand, and then we're going to go into what happened in this surgery. Thanks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is a picture of the anatomy. This is the right hand. Knuckles are up. On the left, you see the shortish bone. That's the thumb. And right below the thumb, you see kind of a circular red area there. That's where the scaphoid bone was. That was removed on November 25th during the operation. Reason being, the ligament there was torn. The bone had begun to shift outward, and it's just a problem to leave it in. So they take that out. On the right side, you'll see another little red circle. It says triquetrum next to it. That was also removed because it had a partial tear on that side. Now, the two parallel blue lines represent the screws that were inserted during surgery. When under anesthesia, we become very pliable. They're able to bend that wrist easily, insert the screws, and which they did from the lunate up into the capitate above. The real work starting on January 7th, when the cast comes off, I'll go to therapy on the 8th, is to start breaking down the scar tissue there and getting mobility back into that area of the hand. So that pretty much is what was done in the procedure. And I will be posting another video at some point showing how I'm doing once the cast is off and flat picking again. All right, so thanks for watching this. The cast comes off January 7th, and that's when the real work of rehabilitation begins. Back to the hand physical therapist, start breaking up the scar tissue that's here, and get back to some flat picking and opening jars for my wife. I'll do a follow-up video to let you know how I'm doing a few weeks down the line, so that might not be till, the latter part of February or March. But I hope this helps somebody out there that's having hand issues, that's a musician or not a musician for that matter. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.